All good, and yourself?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining me again.
No problem. How's
I
your week been?
Yeah, it's been all right. We had Easter Monday here in Canada, which was quite nice, so managed to get through some personal stuff. But the weather has been absolutely terrible, so I'm just hoping for the summer to arrive ASAP.
Yeah, I think we're all like that at the minute. We had a 4-day weekend for the Easter holidays, so and even this week in work is kind of very quiet because
Yeah,
everybody takes the opportunity, don't they, with the 4 days?
yeah, yeah. It's wild. I've noticed so much how my mood is affected by the sunlight that I get.
Yeah, I'm Irish, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what the weather's like to me.
Oh, brilliant. Cool. All right, well, let's get it moving because I haven't got as much time as I had last week. I've probably got 20 minutes. I've got quite a lot going on at the minute. But yeah, as a bit of a brief update across the board, everything's been submitted to CoinGecko from a brief proposal, and they're working on everything now. I think in the proposal it said stuff was due to go live on April 1st, but I actually think it's April 21st. They're putting together a dedicated video for Metallicus, which is really, really cool. Excited to see that go live, and it's in the style. It's in a very descriptive style. That if you go to the CoinGecko YouTube channel, and I'll see if I can get this link up. I think the latest one that they did was Inject Protocol or something along those lines. Let me find the most recent one. Okay, there's a Polygon one. But it's going to be narrated by a guest host, which will be really cool, and they're going to cover everything. So we gave them a really comprehensive brief on, all of the features of the chain, all of the features of Metallicus, how to create an account, and then as well beyond that as well. So like, what's the long-term vision for it as well, just to give people a little bit of understanding of what it looks like when layer 2 support comes and when perps come and so forth. So yeah, that one, really excited about that. There are 2 subsequent articles as well that are going to be dedicated to the XBR network, which will be fantastic. And we're working through those briefs now. Not much to update on the coin market cap front. That is on the list for me to attack tomorrow to see what the status is on that. But we're very much pushing for that to be implemented sooner rather than later. And then we've also got a bunch of changes that we need across the entire ecosystem as well. So a really, really important piece of work that we've got underway. And obviously, I think, with CoinMarketCap being pretty much the biggest site for crypto and digital assets, it's going to be great to have our exchange up there front and center, especially within the ecosystem. We put up some tweets this week as well from Metallicus, and it's really cool to see, the features that people would like to be added. And we're starting to explore how we're going to work through, future iterations of Metallicus. Obviously, an incredible backend infrastructure, and then we've had some really good feedback about some intuitive features that people would like with native minting on the dashboard and so forth. So everything's moving ahead with that. I've got the proposal ready for the Digital Asset Business Council integration, which Connor, the developer, has actually already started doing some work on that, and it's looking really, really good. So for people that don't know what that is, to give you a TLDR, is I met a guy at my local coffee shop, and he saw the stickers that I had on the back of my laptop. I think I had, obviously, the entire Metallicus suite, WebAuth, and then I got a couple of Circle USDC ones, which I think he recognized, and asked me if I worked in crypto. And it turns out that this guy, Dan, is a partner at Fasken, which is one of the biggest law firms, I think, globally, and definitely in Canada. And what he has done is he has put together a group called the Digital Asset Business Council in Canada. And without me butchering what he took me through, there was some concerns in Canada with the way that the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, were approaching taxation with mining companies. And essentially, they weren't allowing these mining companies to be able to claim tax credits, which meant they were obviously investing heavily into this space, but they weren't able to claim back on tax. And what Fasken did was they approached the CRA and they countered, obviously, what their thoughts were on it. And they've made some serious progress, almost to the point where the CRA have agreed to them that, it is a taxable event. So very much in support of the industry as a whole, specifically kind of here is within the Bitcoin mining realm. And Dan does a lot of work with Hut 8, which is one of the biggest, I think it's recently publicly listed Bitcoin mining company. Also, fun fact that a lot of the Bitcoin mining in Canada runs off, I believe, renewable energy. So Canada is a very good place for Bitcoin mining to take place. However, Dan and I have, continually chatted for a long time, and I kind of pitched to him. I was like, look, it's all good and well having this Digital Asset Business Council, but we've really got to look at how we can, implement use cases and, really reinforce blockchain as a product and as a service and the benefits it can bring. So, the first idea that came to mind was, a simple WebAuth login into digitalabc.ca, where any member of the Digital Asset Business Council and, everyone that's going to the conference in Ottawa this Sunday and Monday, I'm going to be there, will get a membership and will be able to log into the website. And what Connor is going to build in collaboration with the Digital Asset Business Council is a platform where documentation for the Digital ABC can live on chain and is gated by NFTs. So a really cool working use case of, issuing an NFT to someone that they hold in their wallet, and it gives them permission to access. We're starting off with documentation, but it could go way beyond that. And the thing that's really exciting, or at least I find exciting, is that the first document that is going to be hosted on this platform is the Canadian Revenue Agency, obviously a governmental department's response to Fasken about the tax policy on Bitcoin mining. So I've got this proposal to put through. I've got a couple of last checks going on it, but it's for a very mediocre $5,000, which I think, is a very fair request. $3,000 of that is going towards Connor for the work that he's doing, which is great. And I believe there's a fresh integration being built out of this too. And then also $2,000 is going to go towards gold sponsorship of the Digital ABC. And that's going to have, things like a full paged ad in a small brochure at the event. I think there are some additional tickets. So if anyone's in the Ottawa area, they can come along to the event. And then also XPR Network logos on the website and stuff. But obviously phenomenal, incredible group of people attending. You've got the Coinbase country director is going. You've got members from Hut 8. There are members of the Canadian government that are specifically looking at digital assets in attendance. And I'll be speaking on a panel, the last panel of the day, which is kind of a broader discussion around how, blockchain can really, enhance the world. So very much looking forward to that. Hope we can get the community behind that one. Any thoughts on that, Alan?
It sounds like it's very cost effective, so I don't see why we wouldn't get behind it. But and what day? When did you say it was? When are you speaking? What days did you say you were speaking?
So I'm going. I think I've got to go up on Sunday, and then I'm speaking on Monday.
And is there like a live feed to any of that, or can the community kind of interact with that in any way?
I'm not sure. That's a very good question. Let me ask. I'm sure there will be things that can be watched afterwards. It's only my second panel, so we'll see how I perform before I share anything.
You're getting some good practice here in the last couple of weeks. So.
I think it's probably tougher on here than it is in real life.
Yeah, because you can't see anybody, so you don't know if people are still listening or not. So yeah, you're getting some good practice.
True. Yeah, I've got some good Metallicus stash. I think I've got a ton of stickers left over from Money 2020. And yeah, as what's really good is I think I'm going to get a little slot on stage to talk about this integration as well. And we'll be issuing the NFTs that will grant access to that documentation at the event. So I'll be on stage talking about XPR Network, talking about WebAuth. And, fantastic. Obviously, it's not, Metallicus's core job isn't to really guide this entire collaboration through, but, being able to get them kickstarted, get Digital Asset Business Council connected to Connor, and that's kind of what everyone can be doing as a group. I think taking these real great ideas and connecting developers to them.
Yeah, I think we could all reach out to people. Yeah, we can all try and get developers on board our ecosystem too. Who's designing the NFTs for you?
Probably Paul. I haven't asked him yet, but I'm sure Paul can pull something together. We had something really cool that we did for Abu Dhabi when we were pitching them some things, and I think he's got a really cool sort of template of this like rotating ticket / access pass. So yeah, putting that in later this afternoon. Just waiting on a couple of additional pieces, and then yeah, I'm really excited to see that take off. Got a good update on the X advertising front. So we spent, I think, around $15,000 of the initial budget. We saw a huge uplift in traffic to the XPR Network website. I think we almost tripled the daily traffic that was going through there. Very top of funnel reach campaign. Great CPM. I think it was at around 40 cents CPM. So if you're familiar with digital marketing terms, that's coming in at a very, very light baseline for a cost per 1,000 impression impact. And what we've done is we've taken a little bit of a step back. We're constantly pressing the X team. We're in a group chat with Ronnie, who I think I've tagged a few times online, but we have been entered into a pilot program with the X engineering team, which is fantastic. So, a lot of the time you'll always go through a sales focused team that's looking and bringing revenue. But I think as both parties see there's value in, two groups coming together, we can work a little bit, closely and get access to more resources at X, which is fantastic. So we've got access to the beta hiring tool, which we're using to fill this design slash creator position that we've got at the minute. But the pilot program that we have been added to is specifically focused on optimization for campaigns, and then also all the way through the funnel to bottom funnel, where they will really help us achieve what, the metrics that we do want, which obviously are wallet downloads from the XPR network front, but then also, getting people trading on the Metallicus Exchange. So like, can our messaging be improved? Can the flow from, being served an ad all the way through to create an account and transacting, how can they help us with that? So really excited to get that underway. We're back and forth with them constantly on the support, and then also just looking at what the rest of the year looks like as well, because I think, once we get through it and we prove that we can, really drive some meaningful results, I think it's probably going to be smart for us to get another proposal through that helps us grow. So yeah, great on the X front. Question on that?
No, just going to say the next thing about the Reddit. I see the Reddit ads went live. And how is that doing?
Yeah, good. So far, so good. I think we're about a week in. I know in a day, I believe, from past experience, our cryptocurrency are normally quite tight on posts that go in around certain projects. And I know as part of the deal that Paul got, we're going to have something specific dedicated to XPR Network, which will explain the ecosystem and hopefully get that entire group chatting and interacting with the ecosystem. And of course, a giveaway too, right? Like everyone loves free crypto. So I think Paul's built a script which is going to run and be able to probably take some manual lifting out of his hands because he's exceptionally busy, but also just shows the versatility of the network as well. I think he got it to a point potentially where people can literally just drop their WebAuth address in, and it's going to be able to issue the tokens to them directly, which is very, very cool. But yeah, interesting so far. I think obviously the main metric from that is obviously wallet downloads. I've seen a slight increase in the number of accounts that have been created on chain. I think some of those have been people that have been squatting on names. I think Paul put up a really cool tweet the other day about there not being a name marketplace, which, is discouraging for people that are doing that. But in general, I think metrics are heading in the right direction. We are working on developing out the XPR network website further. So talking a lot about interoperability with other chains and the bridges that we have. I know that we've got some plans to really showcase the stuff that you're doing, Alan, Snips, crypto travel deals. I know has just launched, Soon Market. There's some really, really cool things happening on chain. I think Marshall tweeted a few hours ago about people are really waking up to seeing that the XPR network is such a phenomenal and scalable blockchain.
Yeah, we totally agree. We'll definitely having some interesting conversations in the DMs with people taking notice of what's happening. So from my side of things, I'm looking forward to pushing this plugin out and then letting people play with it and see. Yeah, getting it up onto the Unreal Engine marketplace is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the coming weeks are looking good.
Nice. So it'll go onto the Unreal Engine marketplace.
Yeah. Before it will kind of come onto my own marketplace because we're still building that. So once we have that built, we'll have a plugin section for everything XPR network and gaming engines.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think broader integrations and that we have are really going to help that network effect, because I think once we start attracting developers, obviously WebAssembly and C++ are universally known languages amongst a huge developer community. And I think when you have things built on Unreal Engine, Shopify, WooCommerce, WordPress, I think as soon we can have that brand affiliation with the XPR network, with these platforms, it's really going to make that growth and even inspire more ideas, right? Because if we've got a Shopify integration with the XPR network and someone's got a Shopify site and all they simply want to do is issue an NFT with every purchase that someone makes, very, very easy to do so. So a big part of that, I think even in the artworks we've got ready for the Digital Asset Business Council is going to, have existing integrations with WooCommerce, Discourse, and so forth. So yeah, big one. And if anyone has any ideas for integrations or things that we should be building, then we know we've got a grant pot that we can leverage and push forwards. So yeah, very exciting.
I would also say on that, I have built some relationships with developers, so if people are looking for developers, then I have a couple, maybe 2-3 developers sitting in the background waiting to hand over their CVs to come on board and help the ecosystem. So yeah, and again, I think they're full stack developers, but then I also have 2 Unreal Engine developers as well that I've been building relationships with that are prepared to help in the future. So
I created I think it's obviously fantastic. We've got the Telegram developer chat, but I created an XPR network developers community on X. So ping me after this and let me give you that link. I think it would be great to have people in there. I really think communities on X is really going to start growing quite significantly, quite fast. Another idea I had, very keen to see what you think of this one. It's a little left field, but obviously we've got the proposal passed for the grant for X. But I have opened conversations with, I think JC Decor, or one of the big advertising networks in San Francisco. And there's basically these 2 6-sheet posters, which is, if you're not familiar with outdoor advertising, a 6-sheet is probably the one that you see that's about 2 meters high, 1.5 meters wide, and sits at the end of, things like bus stations. So pretty considerably sized advertising format. But I thought it could be really cool to write, X and Elon a letter, or at least a message to say, like, hey, everything you need is ready and available on the XPR network. Digital identity, micropayments. We've got SuchDex as well, which is the only Dogecoin decentralized exchange dedicated for Doge, and obviously 50% of profits go back to the Dogecoin Foundation. But don't think it would be too expensive. I think we could probably get coverage on that 6-sheet and in the BART station right below X headquarters, maybe for about $25,000, which, I think for the opportunity, obviously I would highly doubt Elon would read it himself, but I think even to just get that buzz around X headquarters of, this disruptive blockchain that's trying to get a message to him, I think could be quite cool. Little out of the box idea, obviously won't know until it's submitted, but I think it's always good to get, a sentiment check beforehand. Yeah, lots of cool stuff going in at the minute. We're really keen to get the Metallicus ads live quite soon. So we're just refining the creative on that front. And then obviously once we've got everything locked in with the X team and the optimization team, you can see those go live. And we haven't done paid advertising for Metallicus yet. So yeah, really excited to see how that comes through. We've got, I can't say specifically which titles there are, but we're due 3 or 4 pretty major tier 1 media publications to put out coverage on a broad number of products, all the way through from Metal Blockchain to MetalX to MetalPay. And we're continuing to, really ramp up our PR efforts. I've been invited onto a podcast with Entrepreneur magazine as well, which I'll be going on and, talking about my journey into blockchain, cryptocurrency, and obviously specifically Metallicus, which is good. And all of this, very much ties back to domain authority. Entrepreneur is a huge name. Frank and I were talking about it this morning, but, once we get some of this tier 1 coverage, it's very, very good to use as leverage to, engage with more journalists. And I kind of compare it to, pushing a snowball down a hill. You start with a very small, tennis ball sized thing. And as you push it down, you really gain traction and momentum to really, draw in eyeballs and get people interested and talking about it. And, we've got some other interesting opportunities coming up with, I think Milk Road have just launched a podcast, which we're talking to at the minute about getting Marshall on there as a guest. I know Fat Tony is hammering me constantly about Tim Pool, so I subscribe to his Twitter.
That was going to be one of my questions, because I know Tony was definitely thinking about it tonight. So yeah, thank you for answering already.
No, fine. Yeah, I subscribed, paid my $12.99 a month to see if I can get him to see my tweet, but I've also emailed as well, and I've got our PR agency going through the network there to try and get in touch as well. So go on.
Is the tier 1 content online? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and actually one that I didn't say is that we've got a TV, like 90% locked in, but a TV appearance for Marshall coming up this month as well. So that one, very, very excited about. I think it'll be one of our first major slots with a tier 1 title. So yeah, as soon as I know that I am allowed to talk about that and pre-promote it, I will do. But yeah, we're really pushing. We're a small team, but anything that, the group can support and bring us these connections, we'll always leverage it and try and help use the gravitas that we have as the core developer on these things to be able to bring some stuff to light. What else is there? Any questions that you have, Alan?
Can we get Marshall on here at some point?
I am sure that we can.
Because we haven't heard from him in a while, so it would be nice to hear from him.
We absolutely will. I think this is the second one that I've done now, but I'm planning on going in and asking the team who can join for some subsequent ones. I think it will be
Karen and there's so many of the team. And well, we say I always ask you for Frank, but I know Frank is kind of the hidden gem of the team and doesn't come on and talk because of NDAs and stuff like that. So that's okay. But it'd be nice to hear from Marshall, Karen, Marina. And even Glenn. Glenn would be really cool because, I don't think in the 2 years I've ever heard Glenn's voice. So
I don't think I've met Glenn once in person.
Does he actually exist, or is he just an AI bot that Saeed has programmed?
He very much exists. I was very lucky enough to share a beer with him at Money 2020 in Amsterdam, just him and I, which was fantastic. But yes, he is in fact a real human being. Draghi Kokoski, we need memes on Metal Blockchain. I'm going to say maybe not so much on that front. We can definitely explore, but it's going to have to be a very elevated type of meme. I think we get the fun of crypto is very, very important, but I think, the seriousness of what we're trying to do, especially with the types of individuals that you have looking at the project, I think we're really trying to keep that, elevated fintech focus. But I'm sure the intern can definitely cook up some memes for Metal Blockchain. But maybe not.
we as a community can also build our own stuff, on Metal Blockchain. So all I would say is just watch this space for a few developments.
Yeah, keep ripping it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Let me go back. I know everyone is absolutely slammed and working through tons and tons of stuff. There is there's probably more stuff going on in the background that we can't talk about that everyone's working on, and that's just the nature of doing things properly. We're not here to come and hype up news and give teasers and false news. We're here to, really just continue to do what Metallicus does best, and is build and ship. And I think you're seeing, with things like the L2 and with things like the A-Chain proposal, is that this, ecosystem is really being melded together into what ultimately is Metallicus's mission statement of building the world's most customer-centric digital asset banking network. So, obviously all of those products play a very big part in it. Very excited for, the L2. I think all of this liquidity in Ethereum is going to have a much easier funnel into the space. And, aside from DYDX in the decentralized on-chain platform, there isn't really anything else. And I think once we have our moment and we continue to refine the UI and add multi-chain to the platform, there really isn't going to be an option of where you can trade, especially in the US. And obviously, as we see more regulation and more, compliance come into play, we have been at the forefront of that since the very, very beginning. So it's great to engage with you all. It's great to put out these tweets and get feedback. We look at everything. There isn't a day that goes by that a tweet from the community isn't shared in Slack. So keep all of that coming.
And thanks for continuing these office hour spaces.
My pleasure. There's another, I believe, I haven't actually seen it yet because I haven't been on LinkedIn since they released that 400 megabyte app update. But I believe the Harvard Behavioral Strategy Group have released an update just about the status of where they are at with everything that they're working on. They have conducted the first stage of their research. Let me just pull up the message from Jack here. So they've completed the first stage of it. They are now in qualitative interviews. They're doing a thorough analysis of some data that we've given them. No one's personal data, but of just the general metrics. And then they're moving into the final stage of putting together this consumer behavior report, which I think is going to be beneficial across the board. So the next part of the step, we need about 15 people. I think I mentioned this last week, but we're planning on getting out the comms this week. So if anyone's interested in that and really wants to give some valuable insights of their experience and their journey with digital assets, we'd really appreciate that. I think it would be super helpful. Obviously, Alan, if you're keen to do that, we'd love to have you take part.
Let me know. So that's what they're doing a study, and what would you say is going to be the biggest outcome of it, or what would you expect to be the biggest outcome of the study? How easy it is to use or what people do with digital assets, how easy it is to use ecosystems. What's the biggest kind of outcome of it?
I think it's going to be a lot about consumer behavior. So I think maybe a little less around, the technical elements of how you interact, but a little bit about why people haven't entered the Web3 space, right? Because that's ultimately our goal as an industry, is to just get people having wallets with private keys, right? If you were to really drill down and go, what is it? And it's, well, we want people to have a digital wallet to access a chain, right? And to be able to take ownership of their own data, their own NFTs, their own digital finances, their own documentation, and then interact with that protocol layer. So that is the basis of the work. So very much focused on why haven't you entered, or why have you entered? What was it that caused you to enter? And then I think what we have requested from them is that we can get some suggestions on how we can target people to download wallets. What messages can we be using to onboard people into Web3? And I think that's a collective thing across the industry that people are really looking to do. So excited. And then kind of using that as segues into further things. So Harvard have got their Blockchain Association conference coming up, which I'm trying to nestle my way into to see if there's any, further collaboration we can do from that front. Lots of good stuff going on.
For sure.
Any questions from the audience? Does anyone want to come up? I've probably got 15 minutes more. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
All right. It's exciting time. Just got to, repetitive, but keep building and, share as much as we can. I think one thing that I really would love is for, inbound stuff, having the group. Oh, here we go. We've got Tony, let me add him, and David, is having dApps developers, people that are building stuff on chain. If you want support from that, main XPR network account, please send it through, and anything that's appropriate for us to, post or propose or put on the site or on the social channels, we are here to help you as much as possible.
And I'd say the same as well. Anybody who is looking for somebody to help them, give me a shout and we can talk about things. And yeah, I've kind of gotten into finding people now, so I can definitely help in that regard.
Yeah, cool. David, welcome.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good
I'm fine.
Good to speak in person finally.
Yes, I don't do it often. I'm sitting here in Wales, of all places. That's where I live, if I'm not in Brazil. I just have a question about MetalX, because if there's going to be a MetalX on Metal Layer 2 and on XPR, is it going to have the same landing page? Because about DYDX, I've been following Antonio Giuliano since 2017. He's a brilliant, brilliant person. And I've been into metal since then as well. And he recently posted a couple of weeks ago on Twitter or X that he believed that the future of decentralized exchanges was going to be like a search engine. And so that he obviously views the future of DYDX as being a search engine whereby he can access digital assets from anywhere at any time. And I'm wondering what the vision of Metallicus is about MetalX and how to remain competitive with DYDX in this regard, and whether there's going to be two landing pages, one on layer 2 and one on XPR, whether it's just going to be one or so.
Yeah, great question. I mean, definitely in a product field, but I have a good assumption that no, ultimately the exchange will be the exchange, and then you'll have the opportunity to be able to switch chains as and when, you choose what you want to trade on. I kind of think of it, I have this like long-term vision, and I know Marshall shared about the Metal AI a little while back, but the Bloomberg terminal, obviously gated and private for traders, but you could see MetalX becoming this sort of decentralized trading terminal on chain with multiple chains supported, obviously assets, and assets are the sky's the limit with all of that. So no, it will very much be MetalX as a brand and interoperability with different chains. Got some really good thoughts about how we can really elevate the interface from having a small widget on the side to be able to natively mint XMD. I think is a really good way of streamlining the process. I think obviously we've eventually got perps coming to it as well, so just being able to seamlessly move between all of the different features. I think as well it would be so cool to say you have made a trade and you've got that XMD sat in your wallet, or a stable coin like USDC, just with one click being able to automatically deposit that into a pool on the lending platform, or any asset which is supported by the lending platform of that matter. But then also being able to dive in and stream a payment to someone, send a gift, contribute to liquidity pools in this train state, like global decentralized digital train terminal. So yeah, great question.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the way things are going. I know that, like, originally, like 0x back in 2017 had this big vision. I don't think they've been able to execute on it effectively, but it was the idea of that there was digital exchange as or decentralized exchange as a verb and not as a noun, and that you could in the future just be able to access any asset from anywhere at any time through a particular interface, and that interface might be MetalX, and that if you're connected to enough chains, that you could get anything, and that so yeah, I just wanted to see the vision, and you answered my question, so thanks.
Yeah, and I think it extends a lot more. I think the interface and the AI piece, I think, could seamlessly integrate that as well. And you could find yourself logging on, being able to ask questions like, why has the price of Bitcoin dropped? And an LLM can support in bringing that information. You can make informed decisions and go from there.
That's a really good idea. That's very forward thinking, as I expect from this team. but I think that there seems to be some insecurity, like if you go through the Telegram channels, on how everything fits together right now. People are saying, oh no, the Metal Layer 2, how is that going to compete with XPR and all this, and what's the new focus? And I think it would benefit the whole ecosystem if some Medium post or something came out just explaining how the team envisioned everything fits together, without really revealing any of the information behind NDAs or anything like that. For sure. Because I think some people are kind of visibly insecure about how Metal Layer 2 might affect their XPR holdings, and I think that some statement about the bigger vision and where things are headed in general, without giving away details, might be beneficial. So
no doubt. Yeah, great shout. Yeah, I think, a big part of that is a lot of work that we do have in the pipeline. I've got, some great visions for how the Metallicus site looks, and really elevating that to be a destination where if you land on Metallicus, you can flow through and see that site a little more productized. So even from a menu drop down, it's like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a DEX? Are you looking for an on-ramp? Are you looking to develop? Right. Which chain do you want to develop on, and so forth? So there are a couple of interesting companies in the space. I think Ondo Finance is one of them that has not exactly what we're after, but that sort of vibe. But yeah, great points. And
yeah, no, I mean, I see how everything fits together, but I've been here since 2017.
Exactly.
And I'm not like a technophobe, but other people I can see don't, and I don't like to have to always be the guy telling people on Telegram, no, that's bullshit, no, so it would be helpful if there was a big statement. But anyway,
well,
thanks.
Thanks, David.
I'll let you go. Thank you.
All right, Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. So kind of like an update on a couple of other things is that, let's see, me and VChain, we have been working, trying to reach out to the AMC community as well. I got in touch with someone from the UK, I forgot his name, but he put me in touch with a couple of other people, and a page for AMC where people submit proposals for things to go. And kind of be spread through the community and see if it picks up traction. But we're going to be working on trying to bring awareness to the NFT side of XPR. We're also going to be working on trying to get their community up on like the crypto side of maybe implementing WebAuth into AMC theaters. So we've also been working on that.
Phenomenal. That sounds great. Yeah. VChain reached out to me. I think they did their last airdrop of NFTs on Wax, and I think it cost them a phenomenal amount of money. So yeah, that would be really interesting to speak with.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing is I planned on talking to them about Alan's game as well, because I know that before the movie starts, so while everyone's sitting in the theaters, they have the ability to play games from AMC, and potentially maybe we can get it through the community to promote Alan's game as well. Maybe it could be something that would be picked up by AMC to where they could play the game and earn reward points in AMC.
Love that. Really cool.
Maybe we could build them a game, Maybe we could do that for them, build them their own specific game for AMC.
The sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of, thanks so much, Tony. Like exactly the type of support that we need in introductions. So, yeah.
So the other thing that I was going to mention too, I just started noticing like a shift when it comes to a lot of content on YouTube. So Daniela Cabone with ITM Trading, they're talking more about the digitization of things. So they're very gold, silver centric, but they're also starting to talk about like asset digitizing. So I think that possibly in the future we could probably start trying as a community reaching out to that side as well, and bringing awareness to WebAuth, XPR, Metal, and things like that to them especially.
Nice, very good. Cool. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I am probably going to get back to work. Yeah, I'll go back. I'm going to see who I can get on for next week. Bear with me. I'll do some digging and see who's available. But otherwise, yeah, keep it cooking. Keep all the suggestions coming forwards. Exciting few months ahead.
Thank you, Will.
Pleasure. All right.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye bye.